Hi everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids, and this is the video you've all been waiting for, or at least it's the one you've all been asking for, which is for me to share my opinion on what I think is going to be announced at WWDC 2013, which is taking place tomorrow on the 10th of June 2013 at 6 PM UK time. Now, for those of you who don't know, WWDC stands for Worldwide Developers Conference, and it's Apple's yearly event where we get to learn primarily about new software releases, which are things like iOS, which appears on Apple's iPod range, on their iPhone, and of course on the iPad and iPad mini. And we also get to learn about new features that are going to come up in the next OS for their desktop range, OS 10, Snow Leopard or Mountain Lion, or what are we going to see this year? A new cat, no doubt, with plenty of new features as well. So let's get into it and discuss iOS 7. So iOS 7 has been talked about for the past couple of months. Apparently, with Johnny Ive taking over the lead design for iOS, we're going to see a new flat design. And I think this is going to ring true, but I do think that a lot of the rumours have been concentrating just on this simplified and more unified experience across the iOS platform. And what I mean by unified experience is that sometimes when you go from app to app, you do get a different experience and a different user interface, even within Apple's own applications. And I think they're going to pull all of these together so that it's just a more pleasant and fluid transition when you're switching between apps. But I do think we're also going to see a lot more than just this flat redesign. For a long time, probably at least the last couple of years, Apple have been listening and they've been seeing that Google Android and other platforms offer up a lot of customization for the user. Now, they can't go too far away from what iOS offers already because that change would just be too much and it would probably lose them a lot of market share, and a lot of users would not like such a dramatic change. But I do think they're going to be quite clever in the way they offer some extra customization options for us. I don't think we're going to get full-blown widgets like we get on Google Android, but what I do think we're going to get is maybe some sort of scene transitions so that we can at least change the way the phone looks to be more personal for us. So that I say phone, I mean phone as in iPhone, or indeed the iPod Touch or the iPad as well. So iOS as a whole is just going to give us some way of transitioning between different scenes, and the user experience can then be personalized. So if you want maybe squared off icons, I think they might possibly give us something like that. This is just me hoping that they do something like that. At least then you could change up how your device looked without the actual operation of the operating system changing too much. Apart from that, I don't think we're going to see too many changes, apart from possibly some new services integrated, and of course maybe some extra social network integration within iOS as well. So now let's move on and talk about the desktop operating system and what Apple will possibly give us with the next version of OS X. Now, as Apple have been preparing for the event, we've seen banners go up, and both iOS and OS X offer up a really clean and thin Helvetica light or ultralight font. And I think that gives us some indication as to what Apple's planning with both iOS and OS X. I think we're going to see a lot more of the mobile platform apps and features come across to the desktop. I also think we're going to see a new Finder, which is long overdue, with possibly tabbed windows, and also a much cleaner and crisper design. At the moment, we get a lot of bevels and shadows, and things do look really nice, but I think that Apple are really going to be streamlining the way everything looks. They may well have taken some of their cues from the Windows Phone operating system as well. The tiled interface on Windows Phone, and of course on Windows 8 as well, although it has got in the way of maybe the latest version of Windows being more popular, I think Apple have taken notice at the sort of design cues that they've taken on board, and we're not going to see a tiled interface as such, but I do think that we're going to see a lot more structure to the way the Finder works. We're going to see a whole host of other features as well. I've got nothing I'm particularly looking forward to, but a refresh on the design aspect and keeping everything nice and streamlined would certainly be welcome. And then we come on to the surprises. Well, the surprises are going to be quite a few. I think we're going to have some really cool hardware releases tomorrow as well. I'm not going to talk about the rumoured or probably highly anticipated iRadio service here. What I am going to concentrate on is their MacBook Pro and MacBook Air range, and then also the One More Thing. Now, with regards to their laptop range, I think they are going to release a new MacBook Air. I don't think we're going to get a Retina display, but we're going to get the new Haswell chip in it. We're going to get better graphics performance because of the integrated Intel graphics improvement that's been made with Haswell. And I also think that along with that is going to come better battery life. That's what I think we're going to get. What I hope we also get in the new MacBook Air is a Retina display. I just don't see it happening. I really do hope it does, but I just don't see Apple pushing out a Retina display to the MacBook Air quite yet. I think we're going to have to wait till next year to see that happen. With the MacBook Pro, I think we're also going to see updates to the new Haswell processor. But apart from that, no other changes. I think the MacBook Air is going to be available straight away, and the MacBook Pro will possibly be you can pre-order now, or it's going to be available in about 3 to 4 weeks. Just why the accessibility of these new processors become more available. And now moving on to the One More Thing. And my prediction for this is we're going to see a new Mac Pro. Now, we've known that this hasn't been updated for a long time, or no significant update. So we're going to see updates to the processor, and obviously the knock-on effect of that is a big increase in performance. But apart from that, I think that this time around we're going to see a radical redesign, a new slimline case, and they're just really going to change it up and release a brand new Mac Pro. As well as releasing it, they're also going to re-announce its availability in the UK as well, which of course at the moment the current Mac Pro hasn't been available in the UK for quite some time. It's an exciting time for Apple and Apple fans and users alike, and myself personally will be covering WWDC and all of the announcements on the Geekanoids channel. My excitement lies within the release of the new Mac Pro, because I really would like to get one of those into the studio, and also the release of the new MacBook Air. I'm actually recording this update video for you on my current MacBook Air, which was released in 2012, and I would welcome an update in this particular range so that I can purchase a new one in with a faster Haswell processor and slightly better battery life. I'm just hoping that that Retina display does appear as well. Just don't hold your breath for that one. I'll see you all in the next video.